got a fascinating topic I just want to talk about tonight, and just really just having a conversation around this. This isn't anything specific. This is, going along with the 14-day challenge, but I'm just going to kind of jump off the bandwagon for a little while, and I just want to talk. Just want to talk and just share something. I thought I was going to do a live where, just had a lot, like all my talking points and everything just lined up. But honestly, this one comes from here. It's growing up. If you've ever, wondered what your background is, where you've come from, any of that, it's cool when you actually find out. And it's even more amazing when you discover that as technology gets better, as science gets better, that those results can update, and then you can get even more refined results. So if you haven't jumped on a live with me before, my name is Paul. I know I have some people here on my personal page that we're friends from afar and we haven't necessarily met. So thanks for jumping on with me. I do want to share my updated results here, and if you've ever done Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, any of that, let me know down below and drop me a 1 in the comments below, because I think it is so amazing. So Tanya, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. So I want to share, my background growing up, my dad and my mom. So tell you the story really quick, because this is a common story for especially military families. So my dad is from the States here, but none of us are from the States. We're all immigrants. But my dad is from the Midwest, and oh, awesome! Yeah, that's really cool. You'll have to get your result, share your results with me. I'd love to hear what you guys came back with. Um, and my dad is from the Midwest here, and he got in the Navy for a little while, and actually that's how he met my mom over in the Philippines. So they met in the Philippines. My dad got in trouble for actually having relations with someone while he was overseas, over abroad, because I guess that's the thing that they're not supposed to do. But anyways, long story short, they got married. Mom came over here to the States, knew some English, but not enough to get by. And so came over here, lived in San Diego for over a year until Dad came back, and then had us 4 kids. And so maybe someday, Tom, maybe someday. So had us 4 kids, and growing up in our household was very rich as far as the food. I mean, we had East meets West. We had fried chicken, then we'd have egg rolls. We'd have meatloaf, but then we'd have pancit. We'd have, just trying to give you some examples here. We'd have steak, but then we'd have buttered shrimp, with garlic sauce and all these different things. So we had all kinds of food, and my palate is definitely like a wide range of so many different kinds of foods. Spicy, not spicy, sweet, not sweet, all kinds of things in different textures. I love food, period. And it's amazing I'm not 300 pounds heavier, because I could be, but I love all kinds of food. And so, but a lot of that has to do with, my upbringing and my background as well. And so, oh, sweet, Tanya, 27 years, it's awesome. So military, is a huge contributor to a very diverse background and family. So I got this test, Ancestry DNA. Now, and I just kind of rattled that off, Ancestry DNA. So if you haven't got one of these before, I kept mine. This is from about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And you open up your kit, and inside your kit, this just says activate your kit online, gather your DNA, and inside here, it actually has a place where has a little tube in here, a vial that I took this out of, and then I basically spit in there. You give your saliva sample and everything like that, and then you send it off, and then you wait about 4 to 6 weeks to get your results back. And I got my results, but they've actually updated in the last 1.5 years, 2 years. So what has changed? And I looked. I was going to do a completely different live on this, and what's completely changed is the sample size. The sample size is getting better, the tests are getting better, and have definitely improved. And so, yeah, food is so amazing. So I want to hear your story. You've got something you've got to share, Tanya. So let me share with you my background. So this is what is crazy about this too. This is an even 50-50 split between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ethnic backgrounds here. So on the Asian side, my mom's side, I am 43% Filipino and I am 7% Chinese. And I knew that my great grandmother, great great grandmother was Chinese. And so that explains a lot there. And I didn't see China on the list before, so that's definitely been updated. Before they just classified it as East Asian, or Asia East is what they have it here. Now, on the side of my dad, who's Caucasian, Great Britain is 21%. That's where my last name comes from, North. If you look over in that part of the country, in Great Britain, in Europe, actually, in the UK, there are a lot of Norths, and there are actually quite a few Paul Norths, which is crazy. Germanic Europe is 15%. And then Ireland, Scotland, Wales as a whole group, and that I have 12% of. And then Norway, I have 2%. So with a little bit of Scandinavian in there, 1%. So fascinating, and all those add up to 50%. So 50% my dad, 50% my mom, and it is amazing how little things, we pick up these traces of who we are from our ancestors from hundreds, thousands of years ago. And I don't know, just to me, it is fascinating. And, when I think about, there's stories out there that you hear that parents pass on like different tastes, like, oh, your uncle, or your Uncle Roger, he really likes smoked sausage, or your dad, he really loved green peppers, or something like that. There's always something to be said for our genes and our background and why we like the things we like, and how that is pulling into the present. And I think personally, I think a lot of it has to do with who our parents are, and then infusing that into us, because I like things that are just so random, that are from both my mom and my dad's side. And I don't eat a lot of the things anymore because I'm more vegetarian now with just fish. So I think that's pescatarian, whatever. But it's amazing. It's amazing. If you look at your background and the food that you eat, the food that you like, how you smile. I don't know, for me, the shape, this is going to sound weird, but the shape of my teeth, like I actually, for my profile, I actually have a jet. So that's when your teeth actually jut out over your lower teeth just a little bit. And to me, that expresses more of my Irish side, because you don't typically see that. So just little things that are just from different parts of my parents is just amazing. So this isn't even like a formatted Facebook Live. This is just a conversation. So I want to read over your comments here, Tanya. Yeah, I love that you did 23andMe. That is so cool. And I wonder what the difference is between 23andMe, if I would have done that versus Ancestry DNA. Some people say it's more accurate. Some people say Ancestry DNA is more accurate. But I think, they're getting more and more specific on both sides, because just the testing and everything is just amazing. Yeah, 27 years, that's incredible. My dad was in the Navy for 20 years, and then my brother was in the Navy for a little bit. I have a sister, actually both sisters. One sister was in the Air Force for almost 10 years, and then another sister is still in the Air Force since '02, so 17 years now. Very cool. Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah, about your husband's story about why he went this route at some point. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I want to hear from you about that, because it's definitely not something that everybody does. And here's the other crazy thing. So if you ever do this test for So I did mine through Ancestry DNA. And so what's fascinating, I almost wish I could share my screen here, is that it'll pull up first cousins, second cousins, or first cousins or closer. It is scary accurate because I've had some cousins actually pull up into my listing of, we found a match for you, and it's my cousin. It's my cousin. Someone who randomly sent in a sample, right, into Ancestry DNA. I can't talk tonight, sorry. But someone who randomly sent in a sample from Timbuktu to Ancestry DNA, sent their saliva in, and she is a match as my first cousin. And I know her. We grew up together, hanging out together for a few years as we grew up. So it is actually extremely accurate. And that is, what I wanted to share in that, but there's one more thing I wanted to share. So it talks about how have the latest results improved. And if you read, like, one of the ways, this is the nerd coming at me, but it says DNA is made up of a string of 4 different letters, A, C, G, and T. Our old algorithm looked at one letter at a time, and based on where that letter appeared in your DNA, it decided where that bit of DNA came from. Without getting too technical, our new algorithm rates longer stretches of your DNA at once, making it easier to identify regions of the world where your ancestor once roamed. If you could see this map that they have here, like for where my ancestors in particular came from, it is amazing. They have the color chart, they have the boundary overlays where things overlap, and how migration patterns could have played into how my makeup came about. So really, really cool. So anyways, that's what I have for you tonight. So didn't want anything too formal, but if you haven't done it, here's my recommendation for you. Do get tested if you are even sort of uncertain of where your parents came from or what their background is, because when you find out, there's just something about knowing. There's just something about knowing not who you are, because who you are is more about your personality and how you carry on in life and how you treat people, right? It's more about where your ancestors came from, because that tells a lot about your cultural heritage on both sides and the history of you, and every step and every moment that each couple took, that took what, a generation, 20 years or so to move time forward, and hundreds of years to get to you. So to me, that's fascinating. It is fascinating. So, all right, I am just rambling now, but if you haven't gotten tested, do so. And the tests are actually pretty reasonable. All right, I'm hopping off here. Have a great night. And Tanya, Brig, Tom, and Nancy, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate you. Love you.